Mrs. Rabia Raja, the French consul in Dubai, Mrs. Melanie Maril, Director of Alliance Française, Mrs. Zahira Mouti, Director of the Arts. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends of the arts, good evening et bonsoir. It gives me great pleasure to be addressing you today, albeit virtually. I have been hoping against hope that I would have been able to join you in Dubai for this event, but the current existential COVID threat is still pervasive and unabated. I would like to thank Mrs. Zahira Mouti, Director of the Arts, and her team for helping get this exhibition off the ground, and also the l'Alliance Française Dubai for accepting to host us. Un big shukran, un grand merci à vous tous. Désolé, messieurs, dames, j'aurais tellement aimé vous adresser en français. Ladies and gentlemen, as we head towards World Environment Day, celebrated each 5th June, let us take stock of the state of our dear planet, as we only have one until further notice, as we still navigate the current pandemic. Since last year, humanity has been living with the consequences of our broken relationship with nature, and unfortunately for us, that's just the beginning. I say the beginning because we are yet to experience the full consequences of a changing climate. It is also a fact that we have and still overexploiting biodiversity to the point of a human-created sixth extinction, exacerbated further by other human-created climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, biodiversity, short for biological diversity, refers to all the variety of life forms that can be found on Earth, plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms, as well as to the communities that they form and the habitats in which they live. As a human race, we have existed on this planet by living off the ecosystemic services of these communities and habitat through the oxygen we breathe, the fresh water we drink, and the food we eat, and the societies and economies we build, and even the medicine they provide. Nature has been giving us all this for free. Recently, economists have tried to put a value to it, and it's been estimated to be a whopping $100 trillion annually and counting. So if we convert their energy for our survival, then when weakened or when they go extinct, it endangers our survival. Over the past decades, we have converted too much land and sea for our 8 billion individuals and taken far more than our fair share at our own life-threatening risk. Ladies and gentlemen, the world-changing coronavirus, previous zoonotic diseases like Ebola, Zika, chikungunya, and many other pathogens are a direct result of underinvesting in and overexploitation of nature through short-term extraction and long-term encroachment. Industrial agriculture, forestry, and fishing are among some of the culprits. The buffer zones between humans and other species is getting smaller and smaller. These zones have taken a very long time to evolve along with other organisms and have created unique ecosystems. The coronavirus that killed millions and counting lives have been living in its host without killing them. A similar pattern was observed with Zika. It was almost benign in East Africa, but as soon as it reached South America, it created havoc. It is clear that we have to change course and our way of doing business. We will need to invest more in nature so that she is better able to do her job and better provide for us. So the question we ask, how much will it cost? Ladies and gentlemen, the economic cost of biodiversity and ecosystem services is increasingly being flagged in conversation. Fortunately, the narrative is now changing in as much as we have started speaking on the cost of inaction. It is estimated that the benefits of protecting 30% of the world's land and ocean outweigh the cost by a factor of at least 5 to 1. The economic assessment follows an urgent call from scientists to protect at least 30% of the Earth's land and sea by 2030 to halt the collapse of biodiversity and the associated ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, the IMF has estimated that 10 trillion of US dollars have been spent so far on official COVID-19 measures worldwide and is forecasting that the GDP has contracted by 4.9% already in 2020. Protecting 30% of the world's land and ocean would require just 0.016% of global GDP. We have to concede that it's like taking a very low insurance premium, and that an incredibly safe bet on a system that has proven its sound productivity for over 3 billion years. Expanding protection to at least 30% of the world's land and ocean and effectively managing it would require an average investment of $140 billion annually by 2030, which is less than 1/3 of the government subsidies currently directed to activities, mainly extractive industries, that destroy nature. This investment would mean short-term net costs, but they would be offset by financial benefits over time. Ladies and gentlemen, the shocks from COVID-19 have painfully and miserably revealed the flaws and injustices in our economic, political, and social systems. Maybe nature is speaking to us. Maybe it's divine intervention. Maybe we've hit the wall after kicking the can down the road for too many generations. Whatever it is, we are where we are. And in this horrible moment, we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reset where we want this trajectory to go, not just for us, but for future generations of all of life and its diverse and rich magnificence. Charles Darwin once wisely said, and I quote, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change," unquote. Will we evolve to invest in the foundation of our existence and rebroker our deal with nature for our own long-term gain? Can we stop exploiting nature's energies for our own purposes only? Will we bend the arc of our economic and political systems to serve not just today, but tomorrow and the day after? Human ingenuity, innovation, and cooperation have brought us this far. But we must push through with every tool at our disposal, underpinned by science, data, and technology, to allow truth through its transparency, effective management to avoid sinful waste, and compassionate and loving leadership, kindness, and empathy towards each other and the rest of life on this planet. Nature knows what to do. We do too, except that nature has had enough of our daily insults. She is reacting accordingly, and the symptoms are here already: flooding, warmer oceans, fires, you name it. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to keep at least half of our planet in natural state and protect 30% of it by 2030. Just like us, our human race, other species have jobs, homes, and families too. We benefit from their productivity and output. Their byproducts keep us alive, and it's called oxygen. We are seeing how this gas is becoming an issue in some COVID-hit countries. Just like we invest in our children, we need to invest in nature's species, as they are our most cost-effective insurance towards stability and free services vital for our survival. Nature's creatures not only help us avoid misery, they are talented, magical, and glorious in their own right. In addition to doubling down on what is left of the wild, we need to responsibly manage the rest. If we do so, we can support and feed the projected global population of 10 billion people by 2050. Ladies and gentlemen, hope is allowed, as there are many wonderful illustrative projects in responsible tourism, regenerative agriculture, and sustainable fishing and forestry that can be scaled for local communities to steward local resources in ways that allow people to live in harmony with nature for the long run and build resilient supply chains from the ground and up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have sophisticated satellite monitoring and on-ground data to add traceability and transparency to track where our food, medicine, and fibers come from. We need to rethink about who is putting in the hard work for creating them and how they can be compensated more fairly. The quicker we can provide the technical assistance, bridge financing, and enabling policies to those closest to the ground, the most nature and consumers will benefit from a truly inclusive, resilient ecosystem. But it all starts from the foundation of those that were here long before us, that we all take for granted, all the other species that live on Earth. If we were to compress this planet's entire geological timescale to 24 hours, mankind would have appeared a few seconds before midnight. Can we justify and account for such harm? Let us think about it, and more importantly, let us do something about it. And I thank you for your attention.